remind you a good way to set goals and hopefully to be more successful. So we'll do our 2 videos. What motivates you? This is one of my favorites. It means that there's hope for me.
Dismissed from drama school with a note that read, "Wasting her time. She's too shy to put her best foot forward." Turned down by the Decca recording company who said, "We don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out." A failed soldier, farmer, and real estate agent. At 38 years old, he went to work for his father as a handyman. Cut from the high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. A teacher told him he was too stupid to learn anything, and he should go into a field where he might succeed by virtue of his pleasant personality. Fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. His fiancée died, he failed in business twice, he had a nervous breakdown, and he was defeated in 8 elections. If you've never failed, you've never lived.
There's been some recent research that's been done that suggests that we as a society have stigmatized mistakes. And so therefore we try to do everything perfect and we're afraid to make mistakes. But that's how we learn. If you do something incorrectly, then you can pick it apart, you can analyze it, you can figure out, how did I make this mistake? What could I do to make it better? And then you go back, after you've gotten that feedback, you know what to do with it, and you improve it, and you try it again. And so a lot of the research now is asking us to ask ourselves and expect our students, don't be afraid to practice and to fail. That's how you learn. It's just that you don't give up. You figure out, you go into the cycle that we talked about where you have a practice, you do it, you get some feedback on it, and then you keep going around. You set those goals and you take the feedback and you continue to work. Can you imagine what would have happened if Michael Jordan never picked up a basketball again? What would we have missed? And what would he have missed? Or Thomas Edison or Walt Disney or any, and these are just a few because that video took just a few short minutes.
Anybody have any ideas or things that they thought of from that video?
Do you feel a little bit inspired, like, oh man, there's a little bit of hope for me?
I think that it's important to realize, and that's what I stress to some of my students, and I say it all the time. Sometimes it does take 2 attempts in a math class, and as long as you're putting in the time and you're working hard, that's okay. And so I stress that you don't want to get down on yourself if you're putting in the time and the grades aren't there, because they will come. Okay? Every subject area, you have stronger areas and weaker areas. And it's not to say you can't do it, and that's what we've always have been stressing from the very beginning. Even if you feel math is your weaker area, you can do it with practice. And it may not be your favorite thing to do, but there's always that one thing that you just are going to have to do a little bit more work on to get to where you need to be. Okay? But we just want to say you need to keep practicing. That's why I sent you those videos this past week and said if you're still struggling with factoring, view these videos. Okay? I'd be curious to know how many of you actually looked at any of those videos that I sent. Okay?
Did anybody look at the videos? One person shaking a head.
Again, I don't do things and just realize I'm a very busy person right now. I honestly have a list of things, and so that's also to say to you, I have a lot going on right now with a lot of different areas. QEP with my teaching, with March of Dimes, baskets, and all that. I have a list of stuff that I have to do each day. I have a list of things I need to do for the week, and then I prioritize them. And that's the only way I know I'm going to get things done. Okay? So I think that some of you probably need to do that so that you don't put everything off until the last minute and then you can't get everything done. I sat down last week because I knew some of you were struggling with factoring and said, okay, what can I give them as something else to do? So I found those videos and put it together nicely for you. So all you had to do was click on the links. saying. If you are not doing well in an area and your teacher sends you something that can give you some extra insight, you need to take it. Because,
You
again,
email those to us?
mhm.
I don't check my email, I go right to my homework. I'm sorry, I'm just saying, I mean, it's such a distraction for me to check my email, I'm not really expecting anything, so I go right onto my math
Right.
lab. I would have, thank you.
But that's a good point.
Sorry.
But realize that your instructors, that's the way we are told we are supposed to communicate with you. So sometimes I'll email it through my math lab if I'm on there and I do the criteria check. But if I'm at my desk in my office, the way I'm supposed to do it is I take your Laker email. So what I've done from the very beginning is I've sent a class one out and I have it saved, and then I just basically use that piece. So remember, if you use a different email, there is a way that you can link your Laker email. And that's really important because, for example, I sent that, some of you may not have even known you got it. Financial aid will send you stuff. If you aren't looking at that at least every once in a while, you're going to miss something that may be very important, some scholarships or anything like that. So if you haven't done it already, I will strongly suggest you linking it to your other emails so that you don't have to look at it separately in that case.